This is lesson 3-1, percents of numbers. It is pages 144 to 146 in your workbook. This is example number 1 on page 144. And it says Diego starts a 12-hour, let me get a highlighter going, 12-hour road trip with his phone battery charge at 75%. Given his normal usage, will his phone last the whole trip? So here's some data that we're going to need. And your book is very much in love with bar diagrams. So if you look at how it's set up, the percents are in the center. So let me change this to a pen. The percents are in the center, with 100% being the total, 15 hours of use. So these two go together, but he only has 75%, which is how many hours of use. Now it clearly looks like we have three numbers going on. So if you look, they set up their proportion. So they're going to cross multiply and divide. Here's the work that goes with that. So they took 75 times 15, they divided by 100, and they ended up with 11.25, which is 11.25 hours of battery at 75%. This is the try it at the bottom of page 144. It says Kita's phone had a fully charged battery. With normal usage, her phone will last 18 hours. How much time is left on Kita's phone battery with a 12% charge remaining? So if you look at this, again, we've got our percents making up the bars in the center. 100% makes 18 hours, and 12% makes we don't know how many hours. So we have 12% out of 100% is how many hours out of 18. Now this looks like a cross multiply and divide situation to me. So I would multiply those two numbers and divide by 100. I don't think I'd probably use those boxes. And I would end up with 2.16 hours remaining. All right, we're on example 2 at the top of page 145. A full set of adult teeth includes 160% as many teeth as a full set of baby teeth. How many teeth are there in a full set of adult teeth? So there's some data over here that we're going to be using as well. So one more time, you are going to notice that your percents are the bars in the center. But this time I have a 100% and a 160%. So 100% of baby teeth makes 20. Those two go together. And 160 would be the adult teeth because adults have more teeth than babies do. So I definitely see three numbers. That's a proportional situation. They did cross multiply and divide and ended up with 32 teeth in an adult mouth. All right, we're on example 3 on page 145. It says, what is the approximate distance in miles from Earth to the moon? So there's our bar diagram. We know this data right here. So 100% of the way is 93 million miles. That's right here, 100% of the way. But we don't know 0.27% of the way. We don't know this part. So it definitely looks like a proportional situation. We're going to cross multiply and divide. Cross multiply, whoops, let me undo that. Cross multiply and divide, and our answer is here. All right, so let's think through what we've been doing. We've been having 2% bars in the middle, one of which is 100%. We're matching up the other two numbers. We're setting up our proportion, multiplying and dividing to get our answer. All right, so in math, we have been talking an awful lot about how there's always going to be more than one way to solve a problem. Now, if I did not have your book in front of me, I don't know that I would have used a bar diagram. But it's definitely an option. Your book has been using it this entire lesson. I think I probably would have just set up a proportion and solved it. But let me give you a third option. And that is when we talk about the word of. You're going to see the word of here, here, and here. In math, of means to multiply. Now, if you're going to use this method, you have to change your percent to a decimal. And you might say, but Mrs. Weeks, this is our, let me change that. Mrs. Weeks, this is already a decimal, and I would agree with you, but do you see that percent sign at the end? That means it's really a percentage. So let me give you a trick. If you want to change a percent into a decimal, you are going to take this decimal and move it 1, put a 0, 2 places, and you're going to plop it down. So in essence, that percent is 0.0008. The word of means to multiply, 720. So on the second one, move your decimal 1, 2 places. You're going to plop it down right between the 1 and the 6. Of means to multiply, 200. On the third one, take that decimal and move it once, put a 0, twice, and plop it down, 0.003 times of 60. All right, would you stop me, please, and go ahead and work these out, and then come back for checking. All right, here are the answers that I ended up with. Go ahead and either star yourself or fix it. Remember, to change a percent to a decimal, move the point 2 places to the left. All right, it is time for you to try some of these. So we are on page 146. We're under Do You Know? And this is question number 4. An 8-ounce serving of apples contains 8% of your daily vitamin C. How many ounces of apples would you need to get 100% of your daily vitamin C? All right, so I think you probably have 2 options here. You can use a bar diagram or you can use a proportion, but I want you to pause me, solve it, and come back to check. All right, so I solved this going both ways. I have my bars in the center. Remember, the bars are the percent, so I have 8% and I have 100%. The 8% goes with the 8, and the 100% we don't know. So when I set up my proportions, 8 ounces and 8% and 100%, I cross-multiplied and divided and ended up with 100 ounces. Star yourself if you're right. Fix it if you're not. All right, this is number 5 on page 146. So I'm going to work on one of these with you before you start working by yourself. So if I saw something like this, I would definitely use the of means multiply strategy. But you have to remember, there's a decimal hiding at the end of this number, and I want to move it 1, 2 places to the left. It is going to go right before the 5. Of means to multiply, and you'd use your calculator. All right, would you go ahead and pause me while you solve all of those, and then you'll come back for checking. All right, here's the answer to letter A. Letter B, I'm going to take this decimal, I'm going to pick it up and move it once, put a 0 twice, plop it down. My decimal is 0.0020. Of means to multiply, 3542, and your answer would have been 7.084. Star or fix. Part C, my decimal's hiding at the end of the number. Move it once, twice to the left. Plop it down between the 1 and the 9. Of means to multiply, 568. Your answer is 1,107 6/10. Star yourself or fix it. And letter D, your decimal's hiding at the end. Move it 1, 2 places. Plop it down right in front of the 7. Of means to multiply, 920. Your answer is 680 8/10. Go ahead and star yourself or fix it. All right, last problem is number 6 on page 146. It says water is 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen, H2O. For 1 molecule of water, each atom has the atomic mass unit, U, shown. What percent of the mass of a water molecule is hydrogen? All right, I might try a bar diagram with this one. Let's do one together. So I know it goes like this, and I know my percents go in the center, and I know I'm not more than 100%, so the bigger percent or the bigger bar is the 100. And I know I need 2 of these, so together, if I added those, I think I'd have 2.02 out of a total mass, which means this guy has to come down and be added on as well. A total mass of 1802. All right. And this one we don't know. So we know that we've got 2.02 units, which is, we don't know what percent. And we know we have 18.02 units, which would be the full 100%. And now that looks like a proportion I could cross multiply and solve. Don't forget, well, it doesn't say, but let's round to the nearest 10th, 1 decimal place on this one. All right, pause me to work this out and come back for checking. All right, I did my cross multiply and divide. I got this crazy number, and I'm never going to ask you for something like this. And I should have said to the nearest 100th, because that's what we've been doing all the time, but I did say to the nearest 10th. So x is approximately 11.2%. All right, check yourself, give yourself a star, or fix it, please.